If you think you can sit behind your typewriter, ditto, laptop screen, and write a compelling novel, publish on one or more of the publishing platforms and garner the book sales you deserve, think again. Stop. It is time for you to consider your audience. Think outside the laptop. I know that sounded a little cliché, but the point is respectfully tended to.
I recently posted a video about building an audience. In it, I showcased 9 strategies for building an audience. Now I will dive into each strategy individually. This video is for authors, future authors, readers, and those who watch movies based on books. I like to think that when I write, I am publishing entertainment. So the list was 9 strategies. The first one, not to be taken in any order, but the first one that I enumerated was building an audience or knowing your audience. Identifying your target audience is one of the biggest things that you need to figure out. You say, I write fiction. You write romance? Do you write fantasy? When you're talking to people about what you write, or the book that you're getting ready to write, you're planning on writing a book. Is it romance or another genre? Knowing who you are writing for helps tailor your marketing efforts. Because that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day, is you are going to have to market your book. Unless you hire a PR firm or a marketing firm, an advertisement firm, a promotion firm, you are going to market your book. So who is your audience? Who are you writing for? Are you writing for fantasy? Now is not the time to fight amongst yourselves. Be quiet, old man. Mystery.
She's all yours.
Romance.
20 years feels like yesterday.
Sci-fi.
You're taking damage. Port side. Without you, I fear all is lost.
Or all of them jumbled into one. And if you're doing that, I want to read your book. Now is not the time to fight amongst yourselves.
Be quiet, old man.
She's all yours.
20 years feels like yesterday.
You're taking damage. Port side. Without you, I fear all is lost.
The next thing you want to figure out is, where do they hang out? Where are those fantasy people, those mystery people, those romance who can't put down the Harlequin, or that sci-fi nerd that has to suck up more sci-fi? And I'm not saying nerds are the only ones that read sci-fi. If you do not know your audience, again, how can you effectively create a marketing program that targets the right reader? Once you have brainstormed and figured out your genre, your audience, next you need to be where they are. For instance, think about a fantasy writer. Where would you go? Where would you go find that audience? Yes, you created your YouTube video. You have your book on Amazon under sci-fi or fantasy, not sci-fi, but fantasy. They're not all on YouTube. They're not all on Facebook. They're not all on TikTok and Twitter. They also go to events like Comic-Cons and events like this. There's where your diehard fantasy people are. And then, of course, if it's a sci-fi Comic-Con, that's where your diehard sci-fi people are. Just consider and think that through. And ask yourself, can I set up a table at the next Comic-Con or local cosplay? I remember attending a cosplay at the library for my mystery books. You know what? I fit in. People came to my booth, my table. They talked to me. They purchased my book. They wanted to know what book I have coming out next. And I was at a cosplay with all these people who were outfitted with their favorite superhero or their favorite TV personality or cartoon character. But it was so cool. And I was set up beside this fella that drew caricatures of all of these different things. So consider yourself working or getting a spot at a Comic-Con or cosplay or events like this. Speaking of libraries, the next place that you should be is in a library. Libraries. Check with your local libraries. If you have not developed a relationship with your local librarian, you are missing out. They are eager to help self-publishers and traditional publishers, but you have to put yourself in that position. Go talk to your librarians, your local librarians, and check with your local convention halls for that matter too to find out if there are any events. Libraries have events all over the United States, and these are places where librarians are teaming to learn new techniques, learn about new books. How about your bookstore, your local bookstore? Another place to visit in your local bookstore near you, and then far. No, this is not an oxymoron. You go to a local bookstore near and far. You need to reach out to your local bookstore and the audience local bookstore. So if you have to travel to another state to find a bookstore, do it. I am telling you, these people, they are looking for you. They want to know if you're the next greatest author. They're going to say you were in their bookstore. Consider that for an example. So go to your local bookstore. Book clubs. Yeah, I know this sounds cliche, but your book club, they meet in libraries, they meet in bookstores, they meet at ladies' clubs. They meet all over your territory. You find the person that sponsors a book club in your area, and you let them know that you publish a book and you would like for them to review your book. I've done this, so I'm not even speaking as if I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my mind. I have done this. In my 15 years, I've tried and done this, and I've sold books, and I've gotten to sit in with these book clubs and explain my book. Now, I'm going to tell you, at one of those book clubs, I took a rationing. But you know what? I was okay with that, and I refined my writing. I still use sometimes cannot instead of can't, but I vary it. I balance it out now. But it was a good lesson to learn in that book club. But, you know, some of the people stood up for me, and they said the French don't use that many contractions. The Spanish language doesn't use that many contractions. Think about it. Does not. But nevertheless, that was just something that I learned by sitting in a book club where they were discussing my book. Boy, you have to have thick skin for something like that, let me tell you. But book clubs are breeding grounds for your future audience. Don't pass up on it, trust me. Farmers markets, it's not just about leeks, tomatoes, and onions anymore. Consider a farmer's market. Set up a table. In some places, it's $25 for the season. In other places, $125 for the whole season. But you're there on a Saturday morning between 9 and 1 o'clock, and people are passing by your table. Let me tell you, it is a beautiful thing. As long as the rain stays and holds off, it's a beautiful thing to be able to talk to people about your book in the open air. Now, if you can't find any of these events in your local area, in your local community, and you can't drive to a place where that is happening or one of these events are happening, do your own thing. If all else fails and you cannot find an event near you, create your own author and entertainment event and invite other authors, invite other entertainers to join you. People who write poetry, magicians, musicians, singers, etc. You have to become an active promoter of your book. If you want to get past that 200 to 300 books sold and then your book sits on a shelf, you have to get involved with your community. And that community could be close or far. It doesn't matter. You need to do this. Now, in our next video, we will talk about building an online presence. So I hope that you continue with this series as we get through all 9 strategies. But if you find that I talk too much or don't talk enough, or maybe I need to explain some more, let me know. Leave a link. You know what to do. Come on, you've been using YouTube longer than me. Okay, you see the gray hair. Maybe you haven't been using it longer than me, but in a way, you know what to do. See you in the next video.
If you think you can sit behind your typewriter, ditto, laptop screen, and write a compelling novel, publish on one or more of the publishing platforms, and garner the book sales you deserve, think again. Stop. It is time for you to consider your audience. Think outside the laptop. I know that sounded a little cliche, but the point is respectfully tended to.
Now is not the time to fight amongst yourselves.
She's all yours.
20 years feels like yesterday.
You're taking damage. Courtside. Without you, I fear all is lost.